Hi friends, welcome to Bella's Stitchery. You may already know that I offer hand-dyed seam binding in my eBay shop, but I've had a lot of people ask how I make them. So I thought I'd show you one of the techniques today. This is using pigment powders, and I exclusively use Hug Snug because I feel it absorbs really well and it's such a soft texture to use even after having been dyed. This is chalk white. I'll put a link to this from Amazon in the description if you want to order some. And then I'm going to use the Lindy's Gang Magicals today. This collection is called Industrial Chic, which I feel like I identify with personally, although I may be a little bit more industrial than chic, but it's a work in progress kind of situation. So we're going to use Time Travel Teal. And at the end of the video, I'm also going to show you how the other colors turned out with this same method. So watch to the end of the video, see the entire collection here if you're interested in that. For this, I just use, this is just a standard glass jar. I'm going to put some standard tap water. And I just fill up, kind of feeling out about how much I'm going to use for how much of the seam binding I'm going to dye. I hate to make too much, although I do find other uses for it. And if you make not enough, sometimes you'll run out and your dye lot may not be exactly the same. So it kind of depends on what you're going for. So for this, it's a pigment powder. Ooh, so magical already. I'm going to take a palette knife here and just put in however much I want. Stir it up. Look at that teal already. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. I love teals. Okay, I'm going to put this back on here before I fling it all over the place in my excitement. Here, you're just going to stir it up. Make sure you don't see any more of the powder in there. Ooh, it's got a nice iridescent color to it. I haven't used this color yet. I've used the others in preparation for the video, so you don't have to watch me do, 5 different colors. But that's really fun. Okay, then, are you ready? This is the tricky part. You're just gonna dunk your seam binding. You could do this one at a time. These are actually 5 different sections. Usually I do one at a time or a couple at a time, but for the sake of the video, I just thought it'd be fun to show you all of it. Now it's gonna look like it's absorbing all of your water, but here's the trick. You could wring it back out. I highly recommend gloves. So I feel like I eyeballed this actually pretty impressively. Oh, yay, Bella Stitchery for the win. Okay, look at that. I used almost the entire amount, so that's awesome. So I'm also going to show you at the end of the video some blends, because in a couple of the cases I did make too much of the dyed water. And again, I hate to throw it away because it's like treasure to me. So I just mixed them. I had some of the green, some of the beachy color, and I made my own color. In fact, if you would help me maybe name it, because it's like a tiny seam binding child, the marriage of 2 beautiful colors together. And look at that. So then when I'm happy with the saturation, I like to put these outside in the sun. It dries really quickly that way. And then here's my other trick for a nice wrinkle is when they're almost dry, I throw them in the dryer. And that really sets this nice wrinkled effect. But I'm also one that doesn't necessarily mind if I get dye all over my house. So if you're afraid of using the dryer on dyed materials that are wet, maybe don't and just do the outside. But, we live art here, so we just go for it. Luckily, my husband is also in a creative field and my kids have just by proxy become artists. So they're never surprised when they open random cabinets or dryers and there's just art supplies in there. It's what they're used to. They wouldn't know any other way. So here's the beautiful teal. Isn't that so lovely? I just love it. I'm gonna do this for no reason. It's just fun. And then I'm gonna put this outside. We're gonna check back in a couple hours. Not in your time. In my time, it'll be a couple hours. For you, blink of an eye, sip of a soda, and we'll see how it turned out. Bye. Welcome back. We're ready. Look at this. Half dried in the sun, half dried in the dryer, glorious teal color. Oftentimes for my wrinkled ribbon, I double dye them depending on the look I'm going for. In this case, I'm just going to do a single pass so you could see how the shades look with this collection along with the other ones I'll show you in a minute. So this is just one dye and it looks awesome. So what I also like to do for packaging, because packaging is kind of a big part of it to me. I love getting things that just look very pretty the way they're put together. I like to make my own bindings for these. So what I do is I love things like this. I don't know if you could see that, where it's like fancy script text for backgrounds. I'll put a link to some in my description if you like that kind of thing. And then this is Basil cardstock craft paper. I'm going to take some black soot distress oxide, and I'm just going to make my own pretty craft background. See how cute? I'll hold it up closer too so you can see. So I do this basically all over my page. Let me hold it up so you can see better. Can you see that? It's subtle. That's all I'm going for. There's also really pretty backgrounds of stamps, you know, like postage stamps, anything that kind of looks ephemera-ish. It's kind of my jam. Sorry for shaking the table. Don't mean to make you car sick over there, seasick, motion sick. Okay, so we're gonna do some of these just to kind of show you. So I do that all over my paper. Then I take some fancy zigzag shears. These are like heavy duty shears, by the way. I think they're for fabric. And then I just cut borders like this because I like the way it looks. And then I cut it about here maybe. That way I have several strips I can make with the same paper. Okay. Then when I have my strip, I take one of my seam bindings. Just toss the rest behind me. Okay, and I just kind of gather it in my hand like so. Ooh, a match. Look at my nail polish. Unplanned. Or was it? Ooh, you decide. Okay, so I take it like this. Twist it in the middle. Flip this over. Grab the end. Pinch it together and cut it. And staple it. How cute! Oh my gosh, I love it. Every time I make these, I just love them because it's just, it makes me happy. It makes me happy to ship them. It makes me happy to make them. So this is how they arrive in my collections. I usually do color families of 3 that go together with some kind of cutesy name. And if you're interested in them already done, check out my link below. I'll have a link to my Etsy shop where I do sell these. I only make 5 of each collection. So if you like a color set, order it when you see it because that's all I'll make since every time they're a little different anyway. Now, let me show you what else I've made. So this was our time travel teal. Let me show you this. Ah, that was the time travel. It just went. It traveled already. Okay, then this is steel shimmer. And let me show you how that turned out. This was again with 1 pass. So to give you an idea, let me show you some white seam binding. This is the before. So this really turned quite subtle. If depending on what I'm going for, I might put this through another pass. It is a really nice gray, but it wasn't as dark as I expected it to be based on some of the other shades. So that's steel shimmer. Pretty, right? Now let's see what else we got. Shabby Turbine teal. Ooh, this was a fun one too. So that's this. Check this out. So these are our 2 different teals. Again, both with just 1 pass through. Can you see the difference there? Let me grab the rest of these that I threw behind me a minute ago. See, there's the 2 teals. Gorgeous, right? Then I like this one too. Rusty Lantern Lime. Look at this business. I made actually a lot of this. I usually only make 5, but I think I'm gonna use it for 2 different collections. I like it. It's very springtime. Reminds me of daffodils or daisies, like their leaf color. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. I like it. And then this kind of reminds me of like a warm sand. It is called Steampunk sepia? I ask that question a lot. Well, however you say it, you're right. This is a beautiful taupe. It is very sepia, reminds me of like a vintage photo. And then remember what I mentioned about mixing. So I had some extra green and some extra this, and I mixed them together, and look at this. So here's the other two. Here's my sepia, here's my lime. Had a baby. Kind of fun, right? I kind of like this too because it is a little rustic grunge looking. So I'm thinking of kind of a grunge set to put this with. What would you call this? Cabbage? Kind of reminds me of cabbage. Do you have a name? I need names. Comment below with your vote what I should call this shade. It's a brand new, never seen before in the world. Premiere right here. So that's my tutorial. That's how I make my stuff. This is what I do. It's kind of fun. It's definitely a time-consuming project because there are layers involved, but it's great to get a bunch of them dyed, just put on my jams or my audiobook and just make some pretty trims. It's great. It's good times. Check it out. Try it out. Oh, be sure to subscribe. I almost forgot. Subscribe, ring the bell, tell all your friends. Then check it out. Try it out. Let's make some stuff. Bye.